So you've clicked on this video because you're trying to find your friend a maritime lawyer, and I assume your friend has been injured aboard a vessel or working on or around a vessel. For some reason you believe a maritime lawyer is necessary. And I think my 4 thoughts on hiring a lawyer apply to whether you're hiring an estates lawyer, trust and estates lawyer, or whether you're hiring a personal injury lawyer to handle a trucking case. Okay, it's something after 20 plus years of practice I think is really important, and I think it's something that people overlook when they try to go out and find a lawyer. And you know what? I appreciate that, because I recently tried to hire a roofer, but you interview several roofers to do a roofing job, and you're sort of left in a vacuum. You're thinking, well, how, except for price, how do you distinguish? I don't know anything about roofing. So in that sense, I feel your sense of kind of perhaps being lost as to how am I going to decide this? How can I help my friend? And you're sort of under added pressure because you've got to, you have the weight of trying to help your friend who may be in the hospital or recuperating, and you're trying to give them some assistance. So 4 things. We'll make this quick, okay? I think the first thing that is often troubling to me is the large swath, the big group of lawyers out there, because being a lawyer is competitive, who claim to be maritime lawyers. Now, I appreciate why they might claim that, because perhaps they've had in the last many years 1 or 2 cases in which they have handled a topic on maritime law, or perhaps an insurance company hires them to defend maritime cases. Okay, but in my view of things, that's not a maritime lawyer, okay? That's someone who is in the general practice of perhaps defending injury claims or bringing injury claims. They've had a few cases. A maritime lawyer practices the craft almost entirely 24/7, 365. That's their history. They don't have anything else that they practice. Now, I say that some maritime lawyers like myself, we do a little bit of aviation law because there is a relationship there. But for sweet sake, I'm not handling dog bite cases, okay? I'm focused on maritime law. So you want to have someone who is actually a maritime lawyer. And how do you go about that? Well, take a look at the Maritime Law Association of the United States. It's called the MLA USA. And take a look at their membership. See if they're a member. Ask the lawyer, how many cases have you handled? If you're hiring a lawyer to help your friend who's been injured, ask the lawyer, do you represent defendants, like vessel owners and insurers, or do you represent injured people? And make sure you listen to that response. It shouldn't be cagey. It should be straightforward. It should be, we only represent injured people. That's what this firm does. We don't represent any insurers at all. So that's my first point. My first point, using the old analog handwriting notepad, which I really like. The first one is actual maritime lawyer. Actual, okay? We'll call it that for brevity. Number two. All right, experience, and we'll write that right here. Experience. That might seem simple, and maybe you would have come to that in your own way. Certainly when I hired my roofers, I said, hey, what kind of experience you got? You done this for a while? And every one of them to the man was, I got 30 years, 23 years, I've got all those trucks and everything else. So that's it's a good category, but it's a big funnel. It's the filters the mesh on that filter is kind of big. It's kind of hard. It's not helping you necessarily. So you need to define when you ask or when you think about experience, refine a little bit. Say, well, how many maritime cases have you handled in the last 6 months? And we could give you that number. And so that's important, I think. How many maritime cases in which you have published decisions? How many maritime cases have you filed? Don't be afraid to ask these questions. You don't need to ask them in a punchy, pugilistic manner. You can ask them in, a nice way, and get a feel for where that attorney is coming from. And you might get the sense that, we handled this. You got to listen, because lawyers, can talk around, questions. And you got to listen. Well, no. I'm asking you, sir. How many have you actually filed in the last year? How many maritime cases? You ever represented someone that fell on a ferry, or fell on a dock, or was injured by a wake as a passenger? I mean, these are all things we've we've done, and I think they would serve you well as you try to find a maritime lawyer for your friend to ask. So the first thing is the person we're thinking about how we're going to hire. How do we go about hiring a maritime lawyer for our friend? Are they actually a maritime lawyer? Do they have experience? And I think this is my third one, accessibility. Now this is, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that I think in this age, when you hire a personal injury lawyer, if you want to really have the best chance of success, set yourself up to win, as the motivational speakers say. If you want to help your friend in that way, that lawyer should be committed to representing your friend, not committed to running a business, okay? We as lawyers are often told, remember, son, you're running a business. I appreciate that, but we're also in the business of helping people. And if we're not available 24/7, 365, then I feel that we're doing a disservice to that injured client. You know, there's a school of thought which I'm a firm believer in, which is you need to walk in the shoes of the injured party. You know, I don't want to pick up a piece of paper and hear that this injured person has a herniated disc. I want to go talk to them. I want to understand how that herniated disc affects them day in and day out. I want to really absorb what this injury has done, what it has taken from them. And in order to do that, I need to be available. And I need to be able, as a counselor, because we're not just lawyers, we're maritime lawyers and counselors, I want to have that person be able to reach me anytime, on my mobile phone, at my desk, whatever it might be. And that sets yourself up and will set your friend up for getting the most success in obtaining a remedy for what was taken from him or her. And that, you know, I don't mean to sound so too mystic, but I think it's really important. And then the last thing, and I think this is one of these elements that probably is overlooked. Okay, I think people think, oh, a lawyer perhaps or a doctor, well, you know, they're sort of unpleasant, but they really know their business. No, think about that, okay? You want to work with someone you can get along with, or your friend can get along with. You know, you don't want to work with an ass, you know, and there are plenty of asses out here, you know? I mean, and I think that, again, if you're setting yourself up for an opportunity to win, to reclaim what was taken from you because of this injury, then I think you need to want to work with someone who's going to be on the stagecoach with you, and as you move forward, is going to be there to help, and is going to be there to take your call, and is friendly, and tries his best to work with you in a way that advances your case, okay? And doesn't, you know, he returns calls, he or she returns calls, you know, he or she is willing to meet you off hours because that's your schedule, you know, and is willing to listen to, hey, my pain levels change, you know, and can you help me here? This doctor's giving me a little bit of a problem. He thinks I'm this. Can you help me? I think your friend needs a lawyer who's willing to take those calls and try to help, and a lawyer that you like getting along with, who's got a good demeanor. So those are my 4 factors, okay, right? So you've got to have an actual maritime lawyer. You want to have someone who's an actual maritime lawyer. You want to have someone who's experienced. You want to have someone who's accessible, who they can reach. And 4, you want to have someone you can work with. You know, someone that's, I'm not going to say friendly, you know, but someone you can work with, someone you like, you know. I mean, that's important, you know, or someone you think your friend will like. All right, so listen, we're always around if you have any questions for us. Our number is 1-800-383-MAYDAY, which is 1-800-383-6293. Our website, saltwaterlaw.com. And my personal cell phone number is 917-445-1144. You know, I can help you find a lawyer for your friend, or we can talk about your friend's particular case. Whatever the situation, I wish you luck in that endeavor. And I thank you for watching this brief video. Good deal.